I was pruning the roses in the garden when I first saw him. He was standing at the edge of the property, half hidden by the trees. I live alone, far from the nearest town. It's peaceful and quiet, usually. But the way this man stood there, motionless in the driveway, watching me, it sent a chill crawling up my spine. "Can I help you?" I called, trying to keep my voice steady. At first, he didn't respond. Then he stepped forward, cradling a bouquet of flowers in his hands. They were wilted, like they'd been plucked long ago and forgotten. When he finally spoke, his voice was soft but filled with emotion. "Anna," he said, almost a whisper, "I found you." "I'm sorry," I said cautiously. "I think you have the wrong house." He walked toward me as though we knew each other, as though he belonged there. I stepped back instinctively, my shears trembling in my hand. "You've made a mistake," I said, forcing a nervous smile. "I'm not Anna." He stopped, standing just a few feet away. His face was gaunt, pale, but his eyes were sharp, piercing. "Don't do this," he said, shaking his head. "Not again. Please." Before I could react, he held out the flowers. The stems were broken, the petals brown at the edges. They looked like they'd been carried for weeks. "I brought these for you," he said, his voice cracking, "like I promised." I took a deep breath and tried to hold my ground. "Listen," I said firmly, "I'm not Anna. I don't know who you think I am, but you don't remember me?" He interrupted, his voice almost pleading. The look in his eyes was unbearable. I shook my head slowly. "I've never seen you before." His shoulders sagged, and for a moment, I thought he'd leave. But then he reached into his pocket and pulled out a photograph. The picture was old and faded, but I couldn't deny what I saw. A woman who looked exactly like me, standing next to him. She was smiling, her hand resting lightly on his arm. "That's not me," I said, my voice trembling. He took a step closer, and instinctively I backed away. My mind raced. Could I lock him in? Run for help? "I don't know who you are," I repeated, louder this time. He sighed, then tilted his head, his gaze softening in a way that felt almost predatory. "You don't remember, do you?" he said, more to himself than me. "That's okay. Memories can fade, but some things are forever." His words hung in the air, heavy and unshakable. He stepped back, looking me over. Then, without another word, he reached into his coat pocket. I froze, expecting something violent, a knife or a gun. But he gently put out a charred bracelet, blackened by fire. He held it out to me, and before I could think, I reached for it. The moment my fingers touched the metal, I was hit by a flash of something. Smoke, heat, screams. A room burning around me, collapsing as I clawed for the window. His voice calling my name. I gasped, dropping the bracelet. The vision faded, but the smell of smoke lingered in the air. "You remember now," he said, his voice calm. It wasn't a question. I stared at him, my hands trembling. "No," I whispered. "I don't." He smiled again, softly, sadly. "You will," he said. He walked into the house, falling apart in ashes right before entering the door.